I want to read a scripture to you out of Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. It says, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And then God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light." I love, again, the imagery of this verse. And I want to share some of the Hebrew meaning behind some of the wording here in Genesis. The earth was without form, void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. That wording there, the earth was without form. It was worthless. It was confusion. There was chaos that was taking place, and it was void. And it said darkness was upon the face of the deep. The word darkness there means misery, destruction, death, sorrow was upon the face of the deep. And in the middle of that scene, the next phrase is just so awesome. It says, "The Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters," hovered on the face of the waters. The word Spirit of God, the Ruach, the breath of God, the wind of God moved on the face of the waters. The word moved, hovered over, means to brood. Again, imagery of a chicken. My favorite are Banny hens, have little tiny chicks gathered under her as she broods over her chicks and protection and just being their security. But the Spirit of God breathed out over this chaos and brooded, vibrated over the face of the waters. Recently, a viewpoint that I just came to understand is water can imply a reflection. And so if you think about that, God created after his reflection or after his image. And so all the beauty that was created out of in the next 6 days there, all the beauty that was taken place was created from a reflection of who he is. When God created, he created according to his image. Creation is a reflection of the image of God. When God broods, hovers, breathes over chaos, that's what takes place. At the start of this video, I shared just a brief illustration of what this lake can look like and the beauty of this lake. And I know from experience, the short clip that I gave you doesn't do justice to what this lake can do, especially in the fall. I don't know if you can see up on the mountains, this backside of the lake is just full of tamarack. And in the fall, when the western larch start to turn golden, and your fall day where the sun is shining, as you drive by this lake and look at the reflection, the gold color is just awe-inspiring. And so the short clip that I showed you earlier of the reflection of the mountain, right now you can see we're not in the same place as I was before. I believe that God can do miracles in the face of anything. Are you facing confusion, chaos? Are you facing some things that are so out of order and so chaotic you have no hope? That's the time that God comes alive, because when God breathes on something, things come to life. Dead things come alive. Order comes out of chaos. Light comes out of darkness. Wholeness comes out of brokenness. See, God specializes in miracles. It's not an exception with him. It's normal for God to do exceptional, above and beyond. And so when God hovers and breathes and broods and vibrates over something, when his ruach, the breath of God, touches a chaotic scene, his image comes forth. Now, as you see, the perspective of the lake here is different than the first clip that I gave you. And it doesn't take much faith, because I've lived here long enough to know this time of season, that it won't be long until the ice is gone. But right now, in this season, it's hard to imagine that there can be a reflection of God that can bring order out of chaos. This morning, as I was reading in the story of the resurrection of Jesus in preparation for this coming Sunday, one of the things that just really captured my attention was when Jesus met with his disciples and Thomas was finally there. He looked at Thomas and he said, "Thomas, you believe because you have seen." And then he said this, "Blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe." It doesn't take much to believe shortly there will be a reflection. But sometimes you're in a season of chaos where you can't imagine that there's going to be a reflection of God at all. And it's those moments that God is saying, will you believe even though you don't see? Recently, I feel what God is saying to me personally, and I feel like the heart of this message, of this video, is I believe God is asking me to begin to pray for and believe for things that there's absolutely no evidence to believe. Sometimes I'm waiting for there to be a little glimmer of hope. The ice is starting to leave, and I can start to envision, yes, there will be an image of God here. But sometimes if you're standing in this place and the storms and the noise or whatever, my heart can't grasp the power of God to hover over your situation. I just want to speak to you. In this season you're going through, God's image will reflect as he broods over the chaos in your life. And Jesus said, "Blessed are those that believe even though they haven't seen." I just declare to you that God's a big God. We're standing at the end of our storm season. It won't be long till this beach is packed full of people enjoying the sun and the clear water. But for now, in this season, it's a transitional time. And I don't know what you're going through, but I just want to activate your faith to believe and bring light to your darkness. Amen.